What is up, gamers? So today what we got is a Ghost Recon Breakpoint PvP tier list for the weapons, and I wanted to do this because we had such a fun time on the conquest mode, to be honest. You know, obviously it could be better in some ways, but honestly it was awesome to play that mode and actually have a good time in PvE. But we also grinded in PvP with those new guns. It was super fun. I think my personal favorite was the SR3M, but I thought, what would be a good idea for, you know, a week or two after the update came out? What's a good video idea? So I wanted to give you guys like an updated, I've never done a tier list video, but I've done like best weapons and things like that. So I decided, why not do a tier list video for the PvP weapons, which is absolutely kind of a perfect idea in my opinion. So we're gonna go ahead and do that today. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely subscribe to the channel, join the Discord so we can grind on different games together. But other than that, let's get into this. All right, so to start off here, we got all the guns on the bottom, we got the tier list on the top. But to start off, all these, these aren't like, I had to get like whatever picture I could. So if you guys don't know exactly off the picture what it is, it's all good. I'm gonna be like saying this is this weapon multiple times. But honestly, there's a lot of guns, so we're gonna start with the ARs today. And this first one right here is the 416, and it's like a really good weapon, low-key. Like overall, it's gonna get the job done in any scenario. So I'm gonna put it as an A tier because honestly, this gun has like not that bad recoil. The bullet spread is not bad, and it also actually has like a good damage rate. So overall, it'll get the job done. But we might switch things down lower, higher, you know, whatever the hell. But I would say A tier because it's just like overall for anyone with any problems you have, like this will get, like, this is an overall well-balanced gun. All right, next up we got the G2, and let me just, like, you guys are, if you don't know where this gun is, you definitely need to pay attention to what you die to more, because the G2 is S tier, absolutely a goat gun to play with. And it's absolutely broken, ruins the PvP for some people, probably a lot of people. If you try hard at the game, you probably like this gun, but if you're a normal player, you probably don't, because you're just gonna get murked by it, and it's not even fun because you literally will die in half a second. So the G2, like, goated gun, definitely will give you a dub, but it's also broken as hell. Literally. But honestly, it's definitely the best gun in the game for sure, hands down. Next up is the 5.53. Oh my god, dude, this gun, I think this is like the first gun you get in the story mode, but let me tell you, this thing, I'm gonna put a D tier because this thing sucks ass, honestly. I mean, maybe it's better in PvP. I've used it once or twice, didn't like it. Nothing special, but overall, I mean, this was the 5.56 XI in Wildlands, which I freaking love to use. I don't remember who it was on, but damn, the 5.53 in PvP now in this game sucks ass. All right, next up we got the 805 Bren, and I remember, shout out Kingston Gary. There's a bunch of you that like always watch my videos, and honestly, I live for that. You guys are awesome. Whatever game I post, you guys will watch. But Kingston Gary always has commented since I started, like, I feel like 3 years ago. Shout out him. But I remember back in the day, he told me to try this Bren out, and I was like, holy shit, this thing's nasty. Because honestly, it's the sights kind of like, it doesn't have the best choices of sights because I think it's a Russian gun. I could be completely wrong, but I've noticed like a lot of Russian guns don't have the best sights in my opinion, for my taste. But I'd like a panoramic sight, you know. But there are still some good sights to use on this. But the 805 Bren, I'd put close to S tier, but I'm gonna put A tier because that thing's nasty. All right, next we got the ACR. What do I classify this one as? S tier potentially. I would put it S tier because this thing actually, like, you're gonna get beat by the G2 probably regardless. If you're just going like, we see each other at the same time, who shoots first? If he shoots you a second, anytime before you'll probably die to this. But the ACR is still, if there's no G2 in the game, the ACR is the next best gun in that lobby, 100%, hands down, because That thing is absolutely nutty. Let me be honest. I prefer it over the G2 right now because I personally don't want to just use the G2 unless someone's going to use the G2 against me. But the ACR is just, it sounds mean. It's from Wildlands, so we wanted to have that in the game, and it does good damage. And it's similar to the 416 or 516 to where it has decent control. Actually, the 516, thinking about it, I remember having a little more recoil than the 416, but still a good gun. But the ACR, S tier 100%. AK-12, S tier 100%. 90% S tier. We might change that. But the AK-12, if you know how to use this gun, it's basically, it was literally the G2 before the G2 was in the game, except it wasn't as crazy, it wasn't as you know, what would you say, broken. Perfect. It wasn't as broken because of the recoil with this thing. But if you know how to use this AK-12, it's an S tier gun. You use it in third person, you don't have as much recoil, you have a fast as hell fire rate. It's a great AR to shoot from range too, because it still has that fat damage, even though you're probably not going to be as accurate from range with the AK-12. Great gun, definitely probably going to put that S tier. AK-47 Shorty, S tier 100%. AK-47 Shorty, absolutely one of my favorite. God, if it's my favorite gun, because I said the SR3M is my favorite gun, but I honestly like all the those three guns. We have the ACR, SR3M, AK-47 Shorty. All three of those great guns, honestly love using them. The AK-47 Shorty is literally borderline broken too, because it has like 43 damage per bullet or something, 48 maybe, honestly, and that's nutty. I'm not sure, but I don't have the stats for all these guns here, but I've used every single gun in this game and in this category other than maybe one or two. So the AK-47 Shorty, I think it has the most damage in the game other than maybe the MK17, and it does hit hard. Obviously the fire rate's not there like the G2, but if there's no G2, boom, one of the best guns in the game in the lobby, so watch out for that gun because it'll put you down quick. AK-47 A tier, same thing as the Shorty, except you know it's the original gun. I would only put it at A tier instead of S tier because of the recoil and the damage. I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it hits as hard and is as worthy of an S tier as the AK-47U or Shorty, because I feel like I put people down quicker with the Shorty versus the regular AK. Continuing with the AK class or the family, we got the AK-74, not the 47, it's the 74. And for that, and I might not have like the Shorty version for this and some other versions, but we're gonna classify it maybe the same, maybe not. But I might not have all the weapons, but I think I got all the ARs, if not mistaken. But the AK-74 I would put B tier, maybe C tier. Don't have the most experience with this weapon, but I know it's got decent damage. But I've never just been pinned down and just screwed over by an AK-74. The fire rate isn't as there with other guns, and there's other guns that also have similar damage, so nothing special, but a cool gun to use. All these guns, also use every gun. Try not to even use the S tier, like use different guns and have a better time other than just killing people with no skill. But if I'm saying what's best gun, what's not, we're gonna be realistic. But we like using crappier guns because it takes A, more skill, and B, it's just funner to use and it makes the gameplay more enjoyable, for at least me. All right, we got the AR-18. I don't know if any of you guys have used this. Definitely you should check out my video with this because I loved using this when I did use it. I remember I wanted an MK16, and to me this filled that gap in my heart, even though it's not probably, or it's probably like it's an M16 but it's a different route, one of you guys that comment knows guns, you guys can tell me. But the AR-18's sick. S tier though, no, fire rate's not there, but it definitely hits hard. A tier for ARs, we're thinking ARs too. This one's a little harder. I'll put it B tier because, oh dude, I was gonna say because no one uses it, but that doesn't mean it's B tier. That means you guys just don't want to use it because you're scared. Because let's be honest, you want to use a G2 because you know it's gonna win. You ain't getting killed by too many AR-18s, I'm sure, so you probably don't even know the blueprints in the game. But I want to put it, we're gonna keep it A tier for now, and then change it accordingly. But this thing hits hard. I remember being like 38 damage. I could be wrong, but it still has a lot of damage. But the fire rate, which is why I'm thinking maybe B tier, you know, so we might change that. But the AR-18, worth a shot to use it, especially if you're a long range player. This thing's a long range gun, and you could use it as almost a semi-auto because the recoil is not even that bad. From what I remember, could have changed in updates, but I remember it not being that bad comparatively to like an AK-12 or other weapons. Yeah, definitely not as bad. Okay, the ARX 200, I'm gonna put B tier. I remember having a decent fire rate. I remember the ARX 200 because I'm like, is the AR-18 better? I think it has more damage in my this is one of the weapons I don't have as much experience with, but I still have used it. I just don't, you know, the ARX 200, especially when you're playing against people, you guys, you know, if you'll see guns that kill you and you'll be like, okay, this is a good gun. ARX 200, I'm gonna put it B tier because it's nothing crazy, but it's still like B tier, still like mid-level, you know, still a good gun to use, still get kills with it, but it's also a little bit harder to kill these guns on the top. But overall, ARX 200, it's a decent gun overall. I like it. All right, the AUG, I'll put, it's either borderline B or C tier. I'm gonna put C tier, first C tier in there, because I'll tell you why. The AUG has a substantial amount of recoil from what I remember. It's hard to hit shots from range when that recoil is a problem, and I don't remember the damage being a good payoff. You know, you can take recoil if you get a lot of damage. That's why the AK-47 shorty is S tier and the AK-12 is S tier, because it has so much damage, maybe a little bit harder to control, but you don't need to hit as many shots, so the control doesn't need to be there. You can burst fire and hit a second or third shot and be good. But yeah, the AUG just doesn't get the job done quick enough in this PvP. All right, next up we got the G36C. I'm gonna put it C tier. Pretty confident with that because it's nothing special, doesn't have the most damage, the fire rate's not super fast, so that kind of puts a disadvantage against a G2, SMGs, certain guns, but it's still not, it's an overall decent gun. Like I said, I would still use it, but it's not as powerful as you would want in a PvP game against some tryhards, you know, so it's gonna be low end. It's not that good. The M4A1, I'll put A tier. This gun, let me tell you, the M4A1 used to be S tier 100%, but then they nerfed it from like 36 or 38 or whatever damage it was down to 33 or 31. So that took that gun that had humongous insane fire rate, no recoil, and you know, had good damage, and it took it from that to being like, it's accurate, it has a good fire rate, it's just 31 damage, you know, and a G2 definitely better weapon choice. There's a bunch of better weapons to fight it or to go up against it, but also the M4A1 still gets the job done, but the 31 really brings it down to almost a B tier. I'm gonna be honest, it almost brings it down to a B tier for me, just because of the damage reduction that happened to that weapon. And it's the same for the M4A1 survival. I'll put that as a C. So if you guys are like, what the hell, like you didn't put that here, put that as a B or C. Like the M4A1 survival isn't that good, the M4A1 is still good, but the nerf, it was like a substantial nerf. It was like a good nerf. Like that gun was OP, they actually nerfed it to where it's not as OP anymore. Maybe a little too much, but that's what needs to happen with the G2 right now, honestly, because in reality I was thinking, should I just put the G2 only as S tier and have everything else, because that's literally how it is. But no, we're not going to do that. But if there's a higher tier, boom, the G2 has it, but it's still S tier. Okay, next up, this is the MK17. I know this picture is kind of hard to see, and I had to actually like analyze it, but yeah, this is the MK17, and this is a hard one because I want to put it here, but its fire rate, we're gonna keep it at A tier for now, but I'm struggling with keeping it here over B tier because it hits so hard. You know, when a gun has so much damage, you have to respect that, but also when the fire rate and the recoil isn't that good, I think I'll have to put it as a B tier. You guys could disagree with me, and I want to hear you guys' input too in the comments. Definitely hit that freaking comment section hard, just so I can hear your input on what you guys think of these guns should be, or if I was right on. But I think just the MK17's recoil as well as its fire rate hurts you when you're trying to track a guy and lead the shots, stuff like that. To as whereas like an AR-18, I feel like is a little more stable to where it's easier to hit those shots. So that's why the AR-18 right now is still at an A tier. It might go to B tier, but I'm still feeling like A tier. You guys should use that because it's similar to the MK17. Fire rate's similar. It's just a little more stable. That's how I feel. MK18 A tier. It might get S tier, honestly. We're gonna wrestle with this one for a second. Maybe change it at the ooh, the MK18 is real good. I have a rule. It's similar to the 416, where it's like a 416 feel, but it looks like a 516 almost. But it's an MK18. But I know it's like, what are you saying, Brian? But it has that similar damage and sound and feel to the 416. It's powerful. It's got a good fire rate. I think it's actually quicker than the 416. That's why I think it's more of a fire rate of a 516. And it's like borderline S tier. It's not like, dude, this is better than the G2. Like, no, it's like the G2's better, but this gun does deserve some praise because it is a good gun. So I'm gonna put it at S tier for now, but it's S or A tier. It's SA tier. All right, it's SA tier. All right, we're getting further in the list now. We got the resistance ASR. What the hell do I do with this gun? This is a gun I haven't used. Let's put it. You guys can if I asked you to do comments, tell me the resistance ASR. Tell me if I'm wrong with this one, because I have not used this. I did buy it though, but let's put it mid tier. Dude, I wish I used that gun. I'll put SC40K. Okay, so I did the SC20K right here. Sorry, so I don't confuse you guys. Resistance ASR, B tier. Don't know much about it. Let me know if it should go lower or higher. I don't think it's supposed to go higher than that though. I really don't think. I think you guys are gonna tell me it's lower or you're good. But the SC20K, I'm also grouping in the 40K with this because it's literally like the same thing, and I've used them both. I'm gonna put it B tier, not A tier, because it's not that crazy good, but it could go to A tier almost because it has a freaking sniper scope. It's literally the best thing to happen. Like, I remember using this the first time I saw there's a sniper scope. It's hilarious. It's like the M82 TX or T5XI sight or whatever that sight is, where it doesn't have like it's just very plain sniper scope, and it's super zoomed in, so it's super fun to use. I would put it A tier just because it's entertaining to use, but we're gonna put it B tier because realistically that's where it belongs. But honestly, had to just let you guys know that was a good one. I'm gonna save this one because it's like my personal fave. We're gonna save that one for last. We're gonna move over to the Taver, C tier. I'll put it D tier. Honestly, I'm gonna put a little freaking personality in this one. I don't like it. The Taver's fire rate sucks. I don't think I don't think it's good. I don't think it has anything redeemable right now. And I didn't even like it in Wildlands. I thought it was a slower fire rate for the what was it? I think it was Medic. Fuck, I can't think of who it was. Tech. It was Tech. I think it was Tech, and I don't like it in that game either, so maybe I'm just biased. VHS D2 used to be S tier when I first started this game. It was the best gun when I first started. It was my first video where I was doing like, oh, these are the best guns. Definitely is gonna be A tier though, but I'll put it S tier in my heart, but A tier 100%. Damage, great. Recoil, not bad. If you have an optimized setup, really good recoil, very accurate. Definitely need to use this gun. Flash hider on it. It's a goddamn laser beam, actually, dude. It's a laser beam. Don't use it. Like, you should use this gun. I've seen people using it more. Keep using it. Okay, I think this is an ACAR. I have not used it, unfortunately, so I'm gonna put it mid tier again. You know what? I think I've seen some people on Twitter, specifically like Heneko, I think, or who was it? Someone was using this, and they said it was good. I'll put it A. Do I put it A tier? I haven't even used it though, so how can I put it in A tier and not even use it? All right, I'll put it A tier for now. You guys let me know if you disagree. 516. I'll be completely honest with you guys. Super Super love this gun. Super love this gun. What the fuck? I really do like this gun. I'm gonna put it B tier, but this is like the best B tier gun out there, I would say. Only reason I'm putting it at B tier instead of A tier is because of its recoil. I think you guys would suffer from it. I think it would be more of a disadvantage to you than an advantage because of the gun stats. I think the 416 is the better version of this weapon than the 516. 516 has a faster fire rate, I think, but not by enough to be like, okay, it's A tier 2. There's not a substantial amount of recoil, but there's recoil, and it's more than the 416, and I think it should belong in B tier, but it could fight for A tier, especially with the AR-18 there. Damn, it could fight for it, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna stay solid. I'm gonna stay solid with where I'm at right now. Next up, A2. We're gonna put that S tier. Ooh, A2. Honestly, I think it's 40 damage. Like, you guys don't I can't even speak. Don't underestimate this weapon, dude. I'm telling you, this thing actually slaps. Does it deserve A2 or S tier for the A2? I think it does. I think it does. I think even they have a raid A2 that would probably even fit more in the A tier or the S tier, but I'm not sure. But I'm gonna keep this at S tier, and then the SR3M, I want to put an S tier for me because I absolutely love this freaking gun. Favorite gun out there, but I don't think it belongs there just because you guys don't like it as much as I do. It doesn't have that much fire rate, or it doesn't have that much strength to it, and I've literally like been following people right with and like shot the whole clip, and then got him down to like 1 HP, but couldn't get the job done. It doesn't have an extended mag, unfortunately. It's got that cool ass suppressor, so it's got that going for it, but yeah, other than that, I really like it, but I'm gonna put it B tier. It does. I think C tier would be disrespectful to this gun, and if you comment, I'm gonna freaking ban you from my channel if you comment it's fucking D tier. No, I'm kidding, but you can. I'm kidding, but I like it. I like B tier. It's staying here, all right. And if you don't like that, you know what? You're probably right, because this thing isn't the best, but it also isn't the worst. It's better than these guns. It fits in with these guns. It's fun to use. It's probably the most funnest gun I've used, but I would say B tier is definitely deserving to where it needs to be. But there we go. We got the ARs all figured out. I'm happy with this. I think the MK18, I think that belongs up there. What else? I mean, yeah, I looked at it. It looks good to me. So if you guys want to screenshot this, go ahead and like look at it. But we got S tier as the G2, the ACR, the AK-12, the AK-47 shorty, the MK-18, and the A2. That's all top of the line best guns. G2 though, always going to beat all these guns, I'll be honest, but all those are S tier top guns. This is like the best thing you can use in PvP. A tier, one of the better things you can use. You're setting up for success. You're probably going to catch a dub or some kills with this, and it's not going to be too hard to control that weaponry. A tier is that kind of go-to spot. Super fun. AR-18 is a slept-on one in this category. You should definitely try it, and not a lot of people use it. 805 Bren, super good. We got the 416, AK-47, M4A1, VHS, and the ACR, but I haven't used the ACR, but all that, confident with that too. Then we got B tier with the AK-74, the ARX 200, the MK-18, the 516, the Resistance ASR, the SC20K and 40K, and the SR3M. So that's midline. You'll die to these. You'll probably die a lot more than you will with a G2 with these guns out, but you're also gonna get killed with these. But more often than not, you're in a harder position than you would be with the S tier. C and D tier, absolute garbage. Don't use them. Not useful and very hard to use even for me. That is the AUG, the G36C, the 553, and the Taver. All those are ass. Don't ever use them. Save yourself some freaking, just spare yourself from those guns. Don't use them. But those are the ARs in a tier list, so you guys can look at it and go, these are guns I could just use. Basically the top two rows, those are guns you should use if you want to win a fight. But there you go. Like I said, if you guys haven't liked or subscribed this video or any of the other videos, definitely do that if you enjoyed it. But other than that, hope you guys saw this and maybe got some more information on what guns you should use in your next sesh. But that's it for me. I'll see you guys next time. Definitely check out my Hunt Showdown gameplay and my Vigor Encounters gameplay. Super fun. Basically a console Tarkov. But like I said, join the Discord, do all that. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.